All right, let's move on to the second game, 4 Eastern on TNT. It's a great day of football. You got Ravens Steelers mixed in and Chiefs Texans with three college football playoff games. Great day of football. Clemson at Texas. Texas sitting, let's see where this line is at currently. 12-point favorites, total 51 and a half. You're down in Austin. You want to go drink, just go to West 6. But Uchi Sushi. If you want some sushi, go to Uchi. Uh, so I like my numbers really like Texas here. I think Texas blows them out. I
Hmm.
shouldn't say blows them out, but I think I guess they'll be a blowout, win by two touchdowns or more. I mean, Clemson, if you look this year, there's just the talent discrepancy between these two teams is massive. And part of that is Clemson doesn't hit the portal. But if you look when Clemson ever stepped up in class this year, it didn't really go well, and they had a pretty soft schedule. I know that they beat SMU, but they were outplayed in that game, I think, even though they did have a big lead. They lost to Louisville at home, and they got blown out by Georgia after, a close first half. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball here, and Phil Moffitt's dealing with some injuries. And Texas's D is kind of like built to stop their offense, and I think Texas is going to be able to get the run game going, and that's going to set up all the easy RPO passes, all the screens that Sark will have. The biggest difference in this game for me when you're watching it is going to be the offensive lines. The Texas offensive line, which should get Banks back at left tackle, is probably arguably the best offensive lineman in all of college football. Their offensive line is dominant. The Clemson offensive line has issues. So I think that's going to enable Texas to get the run game going more easily. Excuse me. It's going to allow Texas to get their run game going more easily than Clemson. And it's going to mean that they have easier third downs. They're not going to be Ewers isn't going to be under pressure as much. And maybe Ewers looks a little healthier now, dealing with that ankle injury. He's had a couple weeks off. And will you see arch packages here? That's very interesting because Texas's path is so easy. How much do you show the arch packages? So what I'm
Right.
curious to see, like, do you just unleash them right away because hey, we're in the college football playoff, or do you wait and say we're gonna be double digit favorites and and then let's wait till the semis? But I think Arch, his running ability in that offense is a better fit overall. What scares me is three areas: the red zone for Texas, special teams, and
Mhm.
then Ewers making a dumb throw or two, because it's not easy to cover. Basically need them to win by 14 or more. It's not easy to do that if you're settling for field goals. You give the ball away once or twice on a dumb throw, and then you have botched special teams plays. It's
Mhm.
not easy to do. Dabo will play which is scary, and I respect it. He'll play as no one's given us a chance card. He's been good as an underdog, but the talent differential in this game, I think, is just too much. This Clemson team, look, I'm happy they got here for my futures, but they needed Miami to lose to Syracuse to get here, and I just think they're going to be overmatched.
Yeah.
Just as long as Texas can score touchdowns in the red zone, not mess up on special teams, and then just Ewers doesn't make a boneheaded throw, I think this is Texas by 14 plus.
Got that board around?
Yep.
Let's have a conversation here. My number's 14 and a half. I wanted Texas pretty bad. It opened up, 11? And I believe I was tweeting out like that's going to move. Then I deep dived this game and I started seeing things where Clemson can potentially expose Texas. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. The
They've
rushing
gone head
attack,
to head.
I think we're going to have to discuss number here, right? Because I mean, there's a 12 and a half out there at one of the sharper books in the world. I think the amount of public steam and parlay cards on these three games for favorites is going to get me the 13 that I want on this game. But we'll get there here in a minute. The rushing attack for Clemson was horrific in the ACC championship. I'm not even going to go over the numbers. They were bad. Moffa and Klubnik completely neutralized. What saved the day was the passing. And freshman Bryant Wesco finally busted out. I mean, this is a guy that was up there in the recruiting class with Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith. He busts out. He has 8 catches on 11 targets, 2 TDs. Jake Brenningstool was just crazy good in money downs and 4 catches on 8 targets, 2 TDs. So Clemson, I think, is going
Wesco,
to.
I do agree, is arguably the key to this game because I don't think they're going to have much success running it. Klubnik just has to clean. He's been playing well this year.
Yes.
He's got to have the game of his life. He's got to
Yep.
use his legs when warranted, and these receivers got to make plays downfield. He throws a great deep ball. They got to hit some explosives, and Wesco needs to be a big part of that.
Klubnik's numbers have very much improved from a pressured pocket turnover worthy play perspective. 12 to 5 big time throw turnover worthy play. He really has turned down the mistakes. Texas is 57th in creating contested catches, and I gotta believe Klubnik's going right after Andrew Makuba right out of the gate. Texas is 83rd if you count total PBUs. It's just to me, there's an avenue for Stool and Antonio Williams in the slot, slants over the middle to go right at the middle of that secondary. That's what the formula was against SMU, and it worked great. And frankly, that opens up the running lanes later on. It's kind of a reverse. So most teams want to establish the run and then throw later. Clemson's kind of doing the reverse, and they had a lot of success with it because they're terrible at running the ball right now. And SMU has a good rush D, but not like this. I mean, Texas's numbers are elite almost everywhere except for the fact they have issues in the red zone on the other side of the ball. So I don't have a lot of confidence that Clemson's just going to come out with their hair on fire and score points, but there are avenues in certain parts of this Texas defense where I think Klubnik is going to have some success. The other side of the ball is where I have real problems. So Ewers has 17 turnover-worthy plays this season, but 12 of them came against Georgia and Texas A&M. So if you kind of throw that out, he's been pretty good. Clemson's 36th overall in coverage grading, 23rd in creating contested catches, so there's not going to be a clean window there. But I think it's important to note that Clemson runs a lot of cover one and a lot of cover three. And Ewers just hasn't made a lot of mistakes against cover three, but man, a single high safety has really jacked his negative play rate up to 12%. And if Clemson's out there showing that, it could be problems. Now, the best option on the ground, Contravian Wisner, Jaden Blue, they're going to run outside zone. So when you look at Clemson against outside zone, they've been highly successful against that. It drops to about 48% against power concepts. The Longhorns' offensive line is only 79th in line yards. So I think there will be a little bit of resistance on the run. But where Texas is going to get in trouble is in passing downs with Ewers, getting pressure. And you ask, well, Clemson, can they do that? I mean, they're 90th in tackles for loss. There's some havoc in there. Edge TJ Parker is the X factor here, fourth nationally in creating 19 tackles for loss, one of the best pass rushers out there. And look at the tackle play. I know you mentioned Kelvin Banks is coming back. He only played 7 snaps against Texas A&M. He didn't play at all against Georgia. How healthy is he? We're going to find out real fast. Trevor Gooseby, who filled in for him and right tackle Cameron Williams, by far the worst graded run blockers and pass protectors of the season. Their 2 games have been against Texas A&M and Georgia. And now you're getting edge TJ Parker, who's like graded as the best rush edge in all of PFF going up against these 2 tackles. And by the way, he doesn't play just one tackle against Kelvin Banks. He switches both sides. So Ewers is going to get pressure in his face, and that's going to cause some mistakes here, especially against cover one with a single high safety. I see a lot of advantages here. I mean, they can defend outside
My
zone,
problem is Clemson can't stop the run. Like their run defense numbers
but look at
are
the
not great.
look at the
And like it's a
concept.
soft
Texas
schedule.
go outside zone at the edges, and that's not where you want to attack Clemson. You have to go up the gut, and maybe they do that. You mentioned Arch Manning and running those RPO packages. If I was Sark, I would sit back and say, who do I have on deck? Oh, the Oregon defense? I'm not showing a damn RPO Arch Manning play at all because that will destroy Oregon on the ground, especially if there's none of it on tape. So I agree. I think Sark may throw this in third gear. They get up 21, 24, whatever. They may throw it in third gear, or this Clemson defense and TJ Parker puts a lot of havoc on Ewers and hangs around the entire game. So I'm taking Clemson in this game. No reason for me to fire on 12, 12 and a half. You said you like 14, and I mean, I agree with it from a rating perspective.
13. I will go head to
Yeah,
head.
let's go on the board at 13 because it's going to get there, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to take one shot on it, and I'll probably take another shot on 14. But for you and me, straight up on the board, let's go 13.
Hook 'em, baby. All right. Just please don't
Oh,
kick
by the
me.
way, Dabo got like some FCS kid out of the portal. Did you see that?
I saw that. Maybe he's
First
changing his
ever.
ways.